for a second to West Ham. Their center backs played so well today, and they did the same exact thing against us. Last year we were able to nick a point and nick a win very late in both games, and Harry Kane struggled mightily. First game of the season he didn't play, but our strikers up front, nothing, no service at all, and for whatever reason, just like Stoke, West Ham, their defensive formation is very solid and very tough to break down. Every time a pass went into the box, there was a foot there to kick it away, it seemed like. And you could tell that the frustration was growing. Ozil looked like complete shit today, which made me happier than nothing else. Sanchez looked a step slow all day long, just now getting back in training from the Copa Americas. And I'm not sure who they play next week. I'd have to look real quick, but I would love to see them struggle out of the box because they got obviously they go on the road next week.
No, they play. They play Palace. Won't be an easy fixture. Palace
not at all.
They won 3-1, right?
Yeah, 3-1. Cabaye got a goal first game back in the Prem, so it's going to be interesting. And we talked about Ben and his wife Allie, and we had some listeners. I don't know. Sam put some stuff out there about getting some listener questions in, so I want to read off a couple of those and get everybody's opinion real quick. Our very good friend, and then someone that we did meet at the Rob White Barbecue, Keith Nicholson. Is Bentaleb getting complacent? Should we rest him or make him fight for his place back into the team? Sam, start with you.
No. I think being taken off at Old Trafford, assuming that he wasn't injured, and some say that he had a niggle. I don't think it takes much to get Nabil Bentaleb fired up and ready to play for Spurs. So
I agree with you. Simon, you got any kind of a difference of opinion on that or no?
He had some errant passes yesterday, but I think anyone's going to misplace a pass. And granted, he did it against Madrid, and that led to a goal as well. So people always going to retain what's fresh in their memory, and I think he's got to overcome that. I know he wasn't happy to come off, but I thought if you're looking at someone whose eyes were daggers at the bench when they came off, Depay when he came off yesterday, he was pissed off. But he was horrible. I didn't see anything out of him that made me go, well, I'm really gutted we didn't get him. Yeah. But he will come good. He will come good. He's a quality player. He just, like most of the United players yesterday, they had a poor game. So Bentaleb will come good too. It's just he had a bad day at the office.
Nabil put that number 6 shirt on, and instead of playing like Dave Mackay, he played like Vlad Kirikesh. That's
or Tom Huddlestone.
Yeah. Give me shivers. West Coast Spurs. The emergence of Delhi. We kind of touched on that earlier. I think he's going to be a stud. I really do. Jan and Toby's partnership, and any chance of a crazy signing in the next few weeks. I don't know if there's a chance of a crazy signing, but if we were to do something that's just like over the top and would just shock everybody, what do you think it would be?
I have no clue, to answer your question directly, and my sort of basis for not having a clue, like Van de Vaart. I remember that signing, like, where did that come from? And I wouldn't put it past something like that happening. I don't know who that player is. I'd love it to be maybe a Yarmolenko.
Lacazette.
Well, and there was so many stories. I don't even pay attention to him anymore. I don't know. Who knows? I don't put anything past. This transfer window has just been manic. Just days I've been wanted to shout for joy. Days I just want to jump off a building. I'm so sick of it.
Jan and Toby, Simon, what did you take from yesterday from the center back pairing?
I think that's the makings of a beautiful partnership.
Yeah.
I think we've all craved a partnership. One of the best that I saw in recent times, and I say recent times, almost 30 bloody years ago, and that was Mabbott and Richard Goff, and that was for one fleeting season.
Recent times, Cheers?
Piss off. Well, okay, so show me another pair since then that have been rock solid as the centre back pairing.
I'm not taking the piss about that. I'm just sort of like, when I was young.
When I was a lad.
How was Dawson? I don't know because I didn't watch, but how was Dawson when he paired with Ledley? How did that come off?
Ledley made Dawson look better. I think Dawson raised his game.
Okay.
Yeah. But
best defensive.
There were flaws there. I'm telling you, Mabbott and Goff, those two were gold. Pure 80s, solid. Hit Parade Gold.
Probably.
All right, I'll get my coat.
Good Lord. Recent times.
Let me throw one out there. I don't know how crazy of a signing it is, but we've kind of talked about needing a CDM, and if we're really going to go out and sign one, and I seriously doubt we do anything more in the midfield. If we do, it would be on a wing. But what about bringing in another Belgian and put Axel Witsel in that center defensive mid role?
He's very
from
expensive.
Zenit.
That could be. Nothing would surprise me.
Yeah.
Nothing. I think we get at least 2 players. I really do. Sorry, I cocked up that question earlier, but I think we get 2 players. I think we get either a CDM and a forward. I'm pretty sure we get a forward. I cannot imagine us ending this transfer season without a.
Yeah.
You don't get a forward. My God, we cannot go with just Soldado and Kane.
Well, and look what they did over in the Audi Cup. Chadley played up at striker too. So.
Well, and what a goal that was.
Yeah. So you never know. I mean, like I said last year that I thought Chadley would be the answer. If Shaq Colthurst was not ready to come up, that Chadley could be the backup striker. He really could. It's just a matter of who you're going to put out on that left wing.
Yeah.
If you're going to do that, because you don't want it to be Eriksson.
Our friend. Sorry, Charles. Go ahead.
The club took Shaq to Denver, but they didn't take him to Munich. So, but he only had, I think, 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Once Harry went off in the All-Star game, and at that point, once Harry was gone, we were never getting the goal to equalize in that game, and it's a showpiece. We'll talk about that in a little bit, but he's not the finished article. I can see him going out on loan. We haven't talked about Pritchard. I know he was injured, not involved in. I don't think he's been involved in anything since the injury, unfortunately.
I think
which is a shame because
ready to come back into training.
We were hoping we would see him in Denver, and obviously didn't do the Audi Cup. He got a squad number, right?
Yeah. 28.
Okay, good. So we're going to remember he's an option as well, and we haven't mentioned him in the podcast. So
yeah, it's not only Pritchard, but it's also Tom Carroll. And that kind of brings up one of the other questions. Memphis Spurs asked us, would we really be that screwed if we didn't pick up another striker? We have such an abundance in the midfield. Couldn't we pull off playing in a false 9?
I don't think we'd be royally screwed, but I don't think it's an option that we go into the season with just Harry. That's just you see him take a knock.
You're a hamstring away from disaster.
So I think the answer to that is it would be an absolute disaster if we didn't pick up a striker.
All right,
just for that reason, for cover, for no other reason. I mean, if they'd have pulled him off because he was tired, we were winning, and you had Chadley slot into that role, or I think Lamella even did it in the Audi Cup, right?
Yeah. Yep.
Why don't we play a 4-3-3? Why? Why don't we fucking play a 4-3-3?
We should. We really should.
I think we should. Anyway, all right. Just the 2 of us, I suppose.
I think it would open things up too, and Ali would be even a better player coming in as a younger player, give him a little more room to work. I think it'd be great.
I think so too. I think it allows your midfielders to be a little bit more multifaceted, right?
Well, you want them to be creative because that's exactly what we have. If you take Ali, Eriksson, and Lamella, just across the board, just those 3, those are your most creative players, and the system kind of hamstrings that a little bit. It really does, because it's a lot of dink and dunk and try to make the quick pass. And
But it never really seems to last for longer than kind of 20-minute periods, and that's exactly what happened. Now, granted, that happened against United because we probably let down after that goal, but you never really see it because it's high energy, right? I mean, it's anyway, I don't know.
So, we talked about Audi Cup a little bit. We talked about the opener. We talked about the preseason, but we didn't really touch yet on Denver, and I know the chairman is dying to talk about Denver because for maybe as not so great as the match itself was, I think everything else that led up to it was pretty nice. So, Chairman, if you will.
Yeah, you're going to have to time me on this, guys, because I'm going to kind of give you a breakdown of what happened when Dallas Spurs went to Denver. And, it started on the Tuesday, caught an early flight up there, landed, got the car, went straight to Dick's Sporting Goods Park, where the All-Star game was going to be played, and that's where the open training session was. A bit of a farce, to be honest. For those who went to any of the games last year in Chicago, Toronto, and Seattle, supporters clubs were given these Willy Wonka golden tickets to have an opportunity to go down and meet the players. Well, last year, I think each supporters club had 3. This year, they gave 5, and it was way too many. There just wasn't enough room. And it almost, I went down with Spencer, my son, and he was getting frustrated because we were right at the end and we just kind of had a jostle for position. So I kind of threw him in a gap so that he could at least meet the players and get something signed. And I kind of held back and kind of peered overhead. So, Ken, you did that with me in Chicago last year, and we had tons of room, lots of space, lots of opportunities to meet the players. This was a little disjointed in that regard, but it was a great opportunity to see the players. From there, I'm trying to think what happened. Yeah, we did the meet and greet that night. And for those of you who know our relationship with a certain former goalkeeper with no hair, we met him at the Blake Street Tavern in downtown Denver in the evening. In fact, Spencer saw them hanging out on the patio before they did the meet and greet. With, it was Brad Friedel and Ledley King. And we went out there, and there's just a couple of us, and he saw me, and he beckoned me over. So this is the third city in 3 months that I've met Brad Friedel. And of course, everyone thinks I'm stalking the guy. I'm some kind of weirdo that's going to get a restraining order. And he's waving his finger, saying, like, come here. And I'm looking around going, you surely don't mean me. And so we go over and we have a chat, and we talk about, the podcast and you guys and all the times we've met, and it's surreal and hilarious at the same time. And we get the photos taken, and even Ledley remembers me from when we were over in Macon at the Supporters Club Awards. So it's kind of this surreal thing. Anyway, they did an awesome Q&A. The speakers were a little dodgy at the beginning. They fixed that, and a lot of the Dallas Spurs members were able to get questions asked on the Q&A. And I think we even featured on the Mothership's website on the page, the landing page, with some of the photos from the meet and greet. In fact, one of our members was photographed between Brad and Lily. So that was a great night. Opportunity to meet lots of folks from all around the country, supporters clubs that we knew. Steve Oxyenden from Arizona Spurs. I finally met Matt Downey from San Diego. Several guys from Spurs Canada, Bill Daniel in particular, and Rolf Jones from LA, Eliana from Vegas/LA. So it was a real great networking opportunity for supporters clubs from all around the country. Tons of people that we've spoken to on Twitter. Following day, the Wednesday, the day of the game, crack of dawn in the morning, we had the five-a-side Tottenham Challenge Cup, which again had a bit of an edge of controversy to it because there were a bunch of supporters clubs playing. They had 4 fields being used, 4 groups. The winners of each group went to the semi-finals. Well, our team, with dodgy old keeper me in goal, we managed to go unbeaten in our first 3 games. I think we drew 0-0 with Austin Spurs in the first game. We beat Atlanta Spurs 4-0 in the second game. We beat the home supporters club, Colorado, 1-0. We took great joy in that one. But then our 4th game, we had to play an Under Armour team. These guys were fit as, and we got turned over 3-0. And we missed out in the semi-finals on goal difference. The final was between Under Armour, no surprise, and a select team from Boulder who had no idea should be even playing in this tournament. So I think every supporters club there was saying, hang on, Tottenham, what the hell's going on here?
Right.
2 teams in the final are not even supporters clubs. So they did the honourable thing. The 3rd and 4th place playoff was Colorado against a combination San Diego LA team, which San Diego LA won.
Congrats.
And then well done to Matt Downey, who played in that team. Rolf Jones played in that team too. And
Can he
believe what's that?
I said, can he play?
I was trying to watch it and talking to my mate Ledley and sorry, did I just drop names there? No, Ledley came.
Classic.
Ledley came to watch the games and present the trophy, which was pretty awesome.
You're such a
I know, I'm such an asshole. Anyway, no, Matt put in a great shift. It was pretty toasty out there, even though we kicked off at 9 and it was all done by like 11:30. But it was pretty warm out there. A lot of people getting sunburned. But I think the honourable thing was done, and Under Armour presented the trophy.